We are live, you said?
I believe we are. It's still saying preparing, so we'll do the standby.
Standing by. Happy talk.
All righty. We should be live. Dr. Bauer for Superintendent Live, our October edition 2022. We had our school board meeting on Thursday night here at North Penn High School. How's it going? How's the start of your year going for the superintendent of North Penn School District?
Good morning, Bob. Thank you so much. Beautiful morning here on September 19th. So far, so good, knock on wood. It seems as though things got started. Certainly, there are transportation challenges every year. A couple things we got to figure out. But in general, I think it was a pretty smooth start and a fairly smooth transition. So yeah, we're really happy with the start thus far.
So you visited, I know you started on day one and throughout the rest of the week visited all 18 schools. Tell me about the atmosphere and energy that you saw at the buildings once schools were officially open, not orientation, not all those things, but day one, day two, day three. What did you see at the buildings?
Yeah, great question. And the theme that I kept hearing from folks, which was interesting, was the kids are so nice. Kids, that's what everyone kept saying to me. Oh, my kids are so nice. I think there's a general sense of relief, a general sense of this is the way school used to feel. People are appreciative of being back. And we were back in school from day one last year, but it feels different this year. So I think there's an appreciation. I think there's excitement around having new leadership. Certainly not an indictment on Dr. Dietrich, our beloved former superintendent, but change is exciting, right? So I think there's a little bit of that. We have a lot of new administrators in buildings, lots of new staff. But yeah, that was what I was hearing was my kids are so nice and it feels so good just to kind of be back and feel a little bit more normal.
Awesome. So behind you, your picture today is the Knapp Elementary School. So renovations are wrapping up. As all building projects, we always have punch lists and other things, and we're working through minor items, but the building's complete. And how was day one over there at Knapp Elementary School?
It's beautiful, Bob. The building itself is beautiful. It is undoubtedly the flagship facility in the district right now, right? It's unlike any other building that we have. Very innovative, lots of collaborative spaces. Cafeteria opens up to an LGI, which is adjacent to the library. It's just beautiful. And it's the type of school that this community deserves. We have new leadership over there. Mrs. Szynski is the new principal after a tenure from Mr. Muller, who kind of guided that renovation over there. And things are going okay. It's not completely done yet. Like you said, there is the punch list of items that have to take place, but for all intents and purposes, it is complete. Parking lot's paved. Playground is up and rocking. It looks great. As a matter of fact, I think we're going to have a ribbon cutting sometime.
Yeah, ribbon cutting is October 18th, right? Make sure
Yes.
my notes are right here. And 6 p.m. we'll do that right there in front of Knapp Elementary School.
Yes.
What would people see that night when they come to the the open house or the ribbon cutting?
Yeah, so of course we want it to be student-centered, right? Like everything else we do in the school district. So the hope is to have some students there, perhaps performing, maybe a little bit of music, a speech or two from kids. Certainly you'll have, I would expect maybe our school board president or vice president. We'll have the architect speak, myself. We're going to invite back former administrators and employees of Knapp who have since retired or moved on. And we'll have a very quick, hopefully, ceremony, 15, 20 minutes was my thought. Have a symbolic ribbon cutting, and then hopefully open the building for tours. Let people walk around, check it out. We're very proud of it. I do think it's a nice preview of the potential that we could have at North Penn High School because we'll have the same architect. And we're just hoping to have a celebration of that community and their new facility.
So talking about community and community events, this beginning of September, we had a couple of community events, and I know you've been working on outreach with the community and making connections and seeing what's going on. The Lansdale Mosque had a community day. Will you tell me a little bit about that and how that went?
Yeah, so they opened their I guess proverbial doors. It was outside, but they invite community members in from all walks of life. and there's bounce houses and activities for kids, and local vendors had tables set up to talk and to promote their businesses and their services. And then they have a free meal for everyone. So it was more like a picnic. I brought my family, my wife and kids attended. It was really fun, Bob. I think it helped that it was an absolutely gorgeous day, but it was just neat to see so many of our students and their families in their element, and meeting them where they are in the community, and to see so many folks from North Penn. We had many administrators, school board members, local police chiefs, other religious leaders in our community, all just coming together to celebrate our differences and really breaking bread together, right? And it was really a beautiful day with a beautiful collection of folks just there to spend time together and build relationships. So I loved it. It was great.
Yeah. And then we had another community type event, and we've been sharing this with our students over the last couple of years. And so we learn a little bit more about Dr. Frankie Boston, and there was a dedication for him over at the Lansdale Volunteer Medical Service Corps. Tell us about that day and the folks that were there for that.
Yeah, so there was a lot of overlap between the crowds, right? Your local senators and representatives, municipal leaders, and emergency services. But Dr. Boston, for those who don't know, started what is now, is it Lansdale, Abington, Jefferson? It was North Penn Hospital. It has changed names a few times recently. But Dr. Boston was a hero in this area, didn't necessarily get the credit that he deserved while he was alive, but he is obviously loved and celebrated now. And they what's the word I'm looking for? Not adopted. When you announce the name of a new road.
Dedicate.
Dedicate. There you go. Thank you. The road was dedicated, and his name now hangs there forever. So it's very exciting to see Dr. Frank E. Boston Memorial Highway for that stretch of Broad Street in Lansdale.
Yeah, and for those who would like to learn more about Dr. Boston, we have features that we have done here at North Penn Television, again, that we've shared with our students about his life and legacy here in the Lansdale area and the impact he had on and all of that medical services. You know, we didn't have, it's kind of funny, the line I heard, and I didn't realize this, that the Volunteer Medical Service Corps was first. And then he founded Lansdale Hospital, which was the Elm Terrence Hospital at the time. Yep. And the one line was, he did the service corps, the volunteer ambulance, service corps, and then needed some place to take those folks when they would go do the visits, and needed a hospital in the local area, which we didn't have at the time. So yeah, there's more about that. That was a wonderful morning as well, going through that. Other big headlines, North Penn High School was just recertified as a National Banner Unified Champion School by Special Olympics. Do you want to talk about that and what that means for North Penn High School and our school community?
Yeah, so certainly North Penn takes great pride in being an inclusive environment, and creating opportunities for all students, and including our students with disabilities. And years ago, I'm going to guess now 6, when I was actually high school principal, we started with a unified bocce ball team. And a unified team is, for those who don't know, it's when you have some students with disabilities and students without coming together and competing and participating on the same team. So if people are familiar with Special Olympics and they're familiar with PIAA, and unified is exactly that, bringing the two together. So we also have a track team now. But the Special Olympics, they actually recognize, what are the stats here? I'll have to look it up, but I know that there's it's something like 500 schools in the nation. Yep. And we are fortunate enough to be recertified as a National Banner Unified Champion School because of our opportunities for our students. So it's an exciting celebration of our community itself, and the fact that we place a priority on all of our students and creating those fun environments where kids can play with their peers.
Yeah, and they're great. They're great. Just seeing those elements too, and that's one part of this unified school banner is not just the games and the teams, but all the other events we do together and supporting our students. But if you ever have a chance and you see when there's a unified game, you're not sure what it is an awesome, as a spectator, to come in and watch our students working together and compete together. It's a lot of fun to watch. Another big announcement that was made last week was from the state of Pennsylvania and Governor Wolf, and our own Melissa Froelich was our coordinator of school nutrition services, was critical in helping through SNAPA, I think is the name for the School Nutrition Association of Pennsylvania. I don't have the letters right, but it's a School Nutrition Association for Pennsylvania that she works very cllosely with, that all students in the state of Pennsylvania now have access to free breakfast at all public schools. You want to talk about Melissa and her work in our School Nutrition Services Department to help not only that, but the great work that our team does there every single day for kids.
Right. So I'll back up a little bit and share that, their efforts were Herculean during the pandemic, getting food in the hands of all of our families, morning, noon, and night, multiple meals, providing meals over the weekends. The School Nutrition Services Department and those who helped facilitate that process were unbelievable. Millions at this, I think it's over 2 million meals that were distributed. That's just incredible. So as part of the emergency relief, they made it federal, I believe, state. I don't recall.
Breakfast is state for sure.
I thought it initially, maybe it was state in relief that all meals were free for all kids.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And then, so that was the last 2 years. So anybody who wanted a meal could have one, whether you are on free and reduced lunch or not, whether your family is in need or not. It's just one burden that they could take off of all families. And hey, here you go. Breakfast and lunch are free. So unfortunately, that is no longer the case. And in North Penn, as you mentioned, Melissa Froelich is our coordinator of school nutrition services. She arranged for all of our kids to still be able to have free breakfast, which is great. That was a great opportunity for our students in North Penn. I'm not aware of other school districts doing that. So whether you are free or reduced lunch or not, you could have free breakfast this year. Then when it came to lunch, we were giving free lunch to both those who are free and reduced. But Melissa has an advocacy team from other colleagues around the state where they were advocating with Governor Wolf's office to provide free breakfast for all students across the entire state. So you're talking about millions of students having access to a free breakfast. And Melissa was at the front of that. Yeah. So we're really proud of her efforts and the fact that all kids in Pennsylvania can have breakfast for free if they so choose.
Yeah. And the other part for this year is if you qualified for reduced price on lunch, you will get a free lunch this year. So we always say that if you think you may qualify, just go ahead and go to the North Penn website, npenn.org, go to School Nutrition Services and go ahead and apply and see if you qualify. And if you have those needs, if you qualified for reduce, you'll actually get free lunch this year as well. That's so great work by that team. So just going through the rest of some of the highlights from the school board meeting, we had a couple of new administrative hires that we announced on Thursday night. Do you want to talk about those two individuals?
Yeah, I'm very pleased to share that we finally have a full roster here when it comes to the administrative team. I think the first shoe to drop or domino was me. Right. So I moved out of my position as assistant superintendent and moved to the superintendency. And then that causes a massive shuffle. And we had a couple principals with some moves, which create more dominoes, some special ed supervisors, our coordinator of emergency management and safe schools, and our assistant business administrator were the last two shoes to fall. So I'm very pleased to share that Mr. Brandon Roan will join the team here very soon. As our coordinator of emergency management and safe schools. Brandon has a police background. He was a captain in his local police department. He was a school resource officer in a neighboring school district. And now he works for a company that does a lot of trainings and ALICE trainings for school districts and active shooter drills. He seems to have a really good understanding of safety and security in a school environment. And he's actually a national trainer. So we're excited to add him to our team. We'll miss Mr. Durr, but excited to have Brandon join. And then next we have Mr. Ron Linke joining our business office as the assistant business administrator. Ron comes to us from a district quite a ways away, but he's excited to join Mr. Scrocky's team in the business office. And he will be a bit longer to join. I don't know if it's 60 days or 90 days that we need to wait for Ron to join, but he will be a great addition as well. So sorry to see Mrs. Johnson leave, but excited about Ron's expertise as well.
Excellent. Yeah. And we'll see, like I said, I think we'll see Brandon Roan pretty soon.
Yes.
In the next couple of weeks. I don't know if he'll be at the next Safe Schools meeting. Maybe.
Yeah, I think
not, for sure by the 2nd in October. We'll definitely see him in October. Maybe not at the end of this month, but that'll be an opportunity to see him and get to know him and see what's going on there at the Safe Schools meeting. The other big thing that the school board voted on Thursday night was the tax rebate. So the governor did a one-time enhancement to the PA property tax and rent rebate program for 2022, which means they added more money to have a higher tax rebate. And then North Penn, who does that as well, we do 75% of whatever that is, and we match it. We match 75%. So because that number increased, we had to increase our number. Do you want to talk about tax rebate program for our residents as well?
So I do believe that you are not allowed to talk about our rebate program without saying our award-winning.
I did drop the award-winning. We are an award-winning rent rebate program and tax rebate program.
Mr. Scrocky would be very unhappy with you. And perhaps
thank you for the correction. I appreciate it.
he actually tongue-in-cheek at most board meetings will say, and Dr. Bauer would be disappointed if I didn't mention our award-winning. So yes, we hear about that quite often via finance and action and work sessions. But we're very proud of our rebate program, and we believe that every little bit helps. And so this year, due to the increase in Governor Wolf's rebate program, we had the threshold of 75% of that. So since their bar was raised, we raised our bar as well. Our school board was very eager to support our community members. So yeah, it's exciting. And we have so many folks in the community that are appreciative. But if you know someone who might be eligible for a tax rebate, please encourage them to check out our website. And we will continue to write those checks to support the members of the community.
Absolutely. And then it's not little numbers either. So the new maximum amount, if you qualify fully, will be $1,243 for a homeowner and $828 for renters. So go to the North Penn website, learn more about our award-winning tax rebate program, and then you can find out if you qualify and then begin the process of applying for that if you'd like as well. So talking about school board meetings and things that are coming up, our next action meeting is at Montgomery Township. And we're talking about our community engagement and what's going on. So we'll be at the Montgomery Township building for the action meeting in October, which is October 20th, and that'll be at 7 p.m. Talk about why are we doing that again? We talked about this last month, but what are some of the reasonings that we're moving our action meetings?
Yeah, there's a couple of reasons, Bob. I mean, one is we don't in the district truly have a board meeting room. Right. We have a conference room at the ESC that you and your team set up as a board meeting every month, set up all those wires, all those cameras, all those microphones. It's hours of setup and tear down. And we've also been relocating to auditoriums since the pandemic began because the little conference room we have here at the ESC was enough to hold the crowd. So we have the fortunate partnerships with members of our community that they're allowing us to come to them. So one of the reasons is we don't have a true board meeting room facility. But the primary reason is, as you said at the top of the hour here, community engagement. Like really going out into the community and meeting people where they are and not inconveniencing them to have to come to us, but we take our show to them. So we're going to be rotating around local municipalities and highlighting students in that area when we're there. So I believe it is, we're in the planning phases, but when we go to Montgomery Township, for example, we're going to have some students from Bridle Path there attending. So they and their families can come out to the meeting, we can celebrate them, and then go on with the business of the district. But that will kind of rotate at least until I think sometime like February.
February and March of where we're scheduled out to at this point. So the next one for sure is Montgomery Township on 10/20 at the Montgomery Township building. And I know if you live over that way and you're going to stop in, you're like, well, Stump Road is under construction. If you're coming from the Cowpath side, 463 side, you're good. You can get right there off of 463. If you happen to be on the other side, say like the other side where Montgomery Elementary School is, just loop around. Stump Road is closed in the middle there after the township building, unless that's recently opened. But as the last time I drove over there, was still closed. So you can get there easily from most of the district from the Cowpath side on over. So there's a lot of big events coming up. Fall's always jammed with events, with welcome back nights and back to school nights and family picnics. This week at North Penn High School is homecoming. So yes. As former principal, what do you always love about seeing homecoming week here at North Penn?
Yeah, I just always say I love to see kids in their element outside of the classroom, right? And of course, the academics and the things that we see day to day in the classroom are so incredibly important. But I love seeing kids doing something that they're passionate about beyond that. So on the athletic fields, on the stage, whatever it may be. So homecoming is a celebration of all those things, right? It's we have many evening athletic events. We have our pep rally. We have the football game, the homecoming court. We have a tailgate party where the kids all get together and there's grills and they're throwing frisbees and beanbags. And it's just really a jovial scene of kids getting together and celebrating their love of one another and our community. So I just love the vibe, the day of homecoming. The building's buzzing. You have the after school party celebration, and then of course football game, which is usually our highest attended game of the year. Yeah. So just looking forward to it. Hopefully it'll be a beautiful night on Friday. See if I can pull up the weather here.
If the forecast is good, we'll see if we can book some good weather. And of course, I'll give a plug for North Penn Television to watch the homecoming assemblies where we introduce the court prior to the game, which we will do on Thursday of this week. You can look for that on our YouTube channel as well.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah, go ahead.
Award-winning North Penn Television.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
And then the pep rally we do on Friday at the end of the day, school day on Friday, is a black light pep rally. It's always a lot of fun just to watch that in our student body. So that'll also be on North Penn Television on Friday, and you can watch that again. And of course, we have all the ceremonies live on Friday night throughout the whole game, and of course the halftime ceremony. And then typically, I don't want to speak for the Marching Knights, but because they can't perform pregame, because we usually let the away team do that, since we use halftime for homecoming, the Marching Knights do their show typically after the game on Friday night. So you can stick around and watch the North Penn Marching Knights do their full show on Friday. So hopefully I didn't speak too much for Joe Santinello, but that's pretty much what happens every year.
Yeah, we can confirm that.
Yeah, so confirm. They will perform at some level Friday night after the game. I don't know if it'll be the full show yet. The time of the year, because homecoming's a little bit early this year, just the way the schedule lined up, that typically homecoming's in October. This is the last game. Our final home game is in October, and that's senior night for the team, for the football team and cheerleaders. So that's why we don't do homecoming that night. There's just a lot of stuff going on there. So it's a little bit earlier. So I think they'll have some kind of show, some kind of partial show that we can watch. Tomorrow, Community Conversations. This is your first one, right?
It is, yeah.
So tomorrow is the Community Conversations. It's virtual. The information on that is on the website as well. It's right there on the main page. Talk to me about what you expect, how the conversation will go tomorrow for our community conversation.
Yeah, so the typical format for community conversations is we have signups in advance. You have to limit the number of folks who can come just so you can have productive conversation. But the list looks great so far. I think we have roughly 15 to 20 people coming, and they have a variety of things that they want to talk about. Some have true issues that they would like to discuss. And in many aspects, I don't believe I'll have an immediate answer, but rather I need to listen and understand, and then come back the next month with some ideas or some responses. But others just want to come and talk and get to know me and build the rapport and the relationship, which will be helpful moving forward in a partnership. So there are definitely some topics that are on people's minds. And I get that, because we are dealing with your most prized possession, right? Your children. So I'm looking forward to engaging some folks who I've heard their names many times from Dr. Dietrich, but I never had the opportunity to meet in person. And this is virtual, but of course we'll be on screen. Yep. And then we also have in October, I believe, another opportunity that we're calling Caffeinated Conversations, which is going to take place at Backyard Beans. And the owners of Backyard Beans, they've just been lovely. They said, look, they don't really allow folks to rent out their space, but a coffee house by nature is meant to bring people together so they can have conversations around coffee. And so they said, like, this is what we want to happen in our business. So we'll let you guys have your caffeinated conversations here. So you can also sign up for that. Information is on the website, and those will be in person, and I will pay for the coffee. It is going to come out of my pocket, not the school district money. So looking forward to just sitting down with folks and having coffee and hearing their concerns or celebrations and working together.
Yeah, and that's 9/28 at 1 p.m. at Backyard Beans right
Oh,
there.
it's that soon. Okay.
Yeah,
Jeez,
it's
that's
coming
next
up. Yeah,
week.
so that's how fast the start of the year goes. It's like bang, bang, bang. It's at the end of the month, right? So that's what I was going to ask about next. The frequency on both of those, are they both going to be monthly? Is that the plan?
Yeah, I believe that's going to be the plan. Ms. Christine Liberaski, I know she's out there listening. She can correct me, but she schedules those with her department, and I think they're going to be monthly. So I really do look forward to it. I know Dr. Dietrich would actually say, oh, great, I have community conversations today. Because it's an important part of the job, is just talking to folks and hearing what's on their minds.
Excellent. And then the only other note I wanted to throw out there is just a reminder for students that Monday, 9/26 is Rosh Hashanah, so there is no school on Monday. So always pay attention to the calendar there. And I'm checking the comments there on Facebook, and Ms. Liberaski did let us know, yes, indeed, they're both monthly.
Right.
So she's there. And Brandon Roan says hello as well. He's watching today. So welcome.
Oh,
Brandon.
that's great.
Thanks for watching. So that's about it I had for the updates about what was going on at the school board meetings. Anything else you wanted to talk to the community about before we wrapped up today?
No, I always like to try to put a bit of a personal flair on these conversations, Bob, just kind of because I believe if people know a little bit more about you, they're more likely to trust you and work with you and problem solve together. So I think it would be important just to share that my own family and my kids are off to a new school year as well. My wife's a teacher. She's a middle school teacher in a neighboring district. My kids attend to that district. And it's just exciting to kind of falling into the routine now. We're really pleased with I'm appreciative of my children's own teachers and all their hard work, and the folks who work in their buildings, everybody from their bus drivers and their custodians to the folks who work in the office. So yeah, I always say in the summer when people are like, you ready for the start of school? I always say, I just can't wait to fall into the routine.
Sure.
And last week was our first 5-day week.
I was going to say, how'd that go with making sure everybody was up on time and they're eating breakfast at the right time and they're getting in the car or the bus stop at the right time? How'd your family make out with your first couple weeks here?
All right. So you had to do that to me, Bob. I'm not much help in the morning. I leave mighty early. I leave my house around 5 a.m. And I utilize North Penn High School parking lot or the neighboring community to kind of get a morning run in. So my wife, she is just wonderful, and she gets the kids ready. And we have a neighbor who helps out with my son. My daughter actually attends the school where my wife works. So that's convenient, of course, because she rides with her. But they have a pretty good routine, and they both like school. One of them likes school more than the other, but in general, they like school. They like to learn, and they're both pretty good kids. So I can't take credit for the morning routine. Now, the evening routine, I do lots of homework and reading, picking up and dropping off at practices. So yeah, my daughter is currently playing field hockey. It's her first year playing school sports, which that's exciting. Had a big 7-0 win the other day in field hockey. And my son is currently playing community football. So we're busy. We're running 15 different ways at all times. But I'm told I will miss this, Bob. So we're trying to embrace it and enjoy it and balance the work commitments and the home commitments.
Excellent. Well, it's just for folks watching, that all of us settling into the routine, whether you have kids in school or not, it is still getting back to this is the school year from the summertime. So I'm glad to hear it's going well for you and your family. That's about all I have to update here. So again, our next community conversations tomorrow, caffeinated conversations, 1 p.m. Backyard Beans on 9/28. Reminder that 9/26 is no school for students. And
I wanted to add the fact that we are going to rotate these times for these meetings, right? So some folks are commenting, well, it's at 12 o'clock. That's not very convenient for me. Well, but it is for some families.
Yep.
While the kids are at school, it is convenient to meet and have conversations. But we're also going to have evening events. We're trying to provide opportunities for everybody. So just because those two opportunities are during the afternoon doesn't mean we won't have opportunities where you can attend. And I hope you'll be there.
Excellent. Glad to hear it. All right, Dr. Bauer, it's off to another great week here. We're looking to wrap up September strong here at North Penn. Appreciate you spending the time this morning to talk to our community about what's been going on and the updates from the board meeting. That's all we have. We can both do our wave and do a little Zoom wave, and we'll say good night, everybody. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, good day. Thanks, Bob. I really enjoy our time together, and hopefully people find these helpful.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Take care, everybody.